Hi everyone, this is Bree with Reading Rev, and you have been asking for it, and it is finally ready. So this is the Everything Reading Notebook, and we are just going to flip page by page today, and I will give you a few explanations, but mostly just let you see how it looks all laid out. I have also updated all of my pages to match the Google Slides and the Teacher Talk manual. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to create the labels. You can do this using the Avery tab. So it's phonological awareness, phonics, and spelling, fluency, vocab, comprehension, and morphology. And I will put the page numbers of each category in the notes. You can see that for this one, I decided to use a spiral instead of a composition notebook. For some of your students, this could be easier because then you can actually leave it all the way open and they're not battling the pages. So we start with talking to the kids about all 5 components and how they are all influential in our reading. And then I meet with every kid at the beginning of the year to talk about reading strengths and reading goals. The first component is phonological awareness, and this goes from largest to smallest, and then phonemic awareness is all about isolating, blending, segmenting, and manipulating the phonemes. Then the second component is phonics, matching sounds to symbols. I add these one at a time as we learn them. So this is not all glued in one day. We don't glue the diphthong one until the very end when we're on that week. There are only 6 phonetic patterns, so I put these in the phonics patterns in orange. We talk about just the pattern of the rule and then how it looks in 2-syllable words. There are 2-syllable division rules. I add the first syllable division rule when we teach closed syllables, and I add the second one when we teach open syllables. These are the closed syllable spelling rules. We used to have this as a spelling tab, but we decided that it is not important if kids know that it's a phonics rule or a spelling rule, as much as knowing that these are all spelling rules that are related, and so we call them closed syllable spelling rules. If you wanted to put one of these on each page, that would be absolutely fine as well. The second phonetic pattern is open syllables in single-syllable words and 2-syllable words. Number 3 is magic E in single-syllable words and 2-syllable words. I'm just going in order of our scope and sequence now, so then later on we do cat kite rule. We purposely have this after magic E because we use K at the end of lots of magic E words like or bike or coke, and so even if it's a silent E, we still use K. So that's why this one is a little bit later in the sequence. I also added ending blends on their own page. Again, this could have been just added to the closed syllable page, but by the time we got here, we needed a new page because we were out of room. Then this is where I teach the schwa in the scope and sequence. You can teach it earlier if you'd like, but we definitely need some explicit instruction in the schwa. Now we're on phonetic pattern number 4. This one's tricky to do here because the patterns, the vowel teams are so complicated and different. So we just take note that there are predictable and unpredictable vowel teams. Here are the predictable vowel teams. And then we teach the Basi R or R-controlled vowels and consonant LE. Then week 17 is the 3 sounds of Y, and then I have a page for review. That is part 1 of the manual. Part 2 begins with unpredictable vowels, and you can see each one of these is a week. After unpredictable vowels, we have hard and soft C and G, and then we begin diphthongs. And after diphthongs, we teach vowel endings, and these can be taught in a couple different ways, but this is how we've organized and addressed that some of these endings don't make the vowel sound that you would predict. We have silent letter digraphs, and we realized that the page that we had in the Everything Reading Notebook was not big enough for the students to actually write, so we just cut those out. The next update, this page will be updated and made a little bit more kid-friendly. We also have another few spelling patterns or spelling rules. These are ones that can't be sounded out or tapped out, and they just have to know TCH and DGE, and we purposely don't teach this until after we do hard and soft G, because otherwise students wouldn't understand why we need that D to be the defender D and keep that first vowel short. We have the final syllable rules, so selfish syllable rule and vowel syllable rule. And that concludes phonics. And as you can see, I left several pages in case you get into more advanced phonics. While we are simultaneously teaching phonics, we were teaching morphology. So I'm going to skip to the morphology tab because that is also part of our word study. So if you can see my morphology tab, I'm going to be adding phonics over in the phonics tab and throughout the week adding the morpheme as well. So you can see that you can either have the students handwrite the entire thing, or you can print this page off of the Everything Reading Notebook page and have it a little bit more visually scaffolded for students. And either way is fine. If you're going to be doing the puzzle pieces, you can teach them how to draw puzzle pieces, or you could even go and get a cheap puzzle from the dollar store and let them trace puzzle pieces. So each one of these is going to be taught with part of our word study week by week. And you'll notice that even though the double drop and 3 sounds of ED, those suffix rules are taught as an entire weekly unit, that's how important they are, we still add them to the morphology tab because they do have to do with morphemes. Okay, so now we are ready for fluency. There's not a ton of things in fluency because most of that is going to be working with our passages, but we do have a few fluency pages that you can add to. You want to explicitly teach fluency from sound, word, phrase, and sentence level. You are going to teach that punctuation matters and prosody matters. Phrasing matters. And this is actually a lesson in the VIP library. So the next one is vocabulary. And you can add one of these bulletin board envelopes and keep the vocabulary clunk strategy bookmark in there. You can add, this is a clunk vocabulary board that you do as class, but you can also add it here. We have shades of meaning, band words, so you can decide what common simple words you want students to use, more complex words. Both of these are this and the synonym bookmarks I'm going to show you in a minute are also VIP, but this is the year-long character trait list for each grade level. It's in VIP. This is in the Comprehension tab, but I also put it in vocabulary because I want kids to tune in to vocabulary words. There are a ton of these that you can teach one at a time or in pairs throughout the year. So then we're moving on to the Comprehension toolbox. And again, metacognition, text plus thinking is real reading. And we teach text structure right away, nonfiction versus fiction. And this trifolds are, there's a whole set of these in the VIP, but nonfiction text structures, nonfiction, what it is, how we summarize it. And then we teach in depth about fiction and plot and summary. And while we're doing our plot study, these are also in the VIP library. You can teach these throughout the year. It is not, inference is not 1 week and connection is 1 week. We want kids to know that this is just what naturally happens with good readers. We naturally infer, we naturally connect and clarify. and ask questions. And so these are taught in the Fluency passages as well, the decodable passages as well, and you can see them in action when it pertains to that story. Again, we have other language lessons in the VIP library, and if you so desire, you can start at the back and do a red word section in the back as well. We don't have it here, but you are more than welcome to add red words at the end. Okay, I hope that helps. That is the Reading Rev Everything Reading Notebook.